Throwing out our ceremonial first pitch tonight, Rick Ankiel. And that was a look at his numbers as a hitter, position player, as he reinvented himself and got back to the big leagues. And one of the great stories, not just in baseball, but in sports. He has a new book out, The Phenomenon. He is selling that book and signing here at the ballpark. And I got to tell you, it's great to see you always back here in St. Louis.
Oh, it's always so good to be back and fun to be up here with you and Jimmy.
This is like home to you, isn't it?
It is like home. It is. You know, at some point here, I might move back.
Really?
Yeah.
Florida boy that loves to fish.
No way. No way.
No chance.
During the season.
Too much
hey,
water.
if I get enough games working with you guys.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Sneak
You're
on
already
in.
going for the games.
He's already trying to bust us out.
He's trying to take your job, Jimmy.
What, we can't share?
Yeah, we can share.
Here's a 2-1 pitch, and now 2-2 on Jordy Mercer. Well, let's start with the book. Why did you want to write a book? I mean, it's one of the great stories ever.
Yeah, I realized that I can help people. And when I went through the throwing issues and all that, you know, I couldn't find literature on it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Well, hey, look, I made it back, pitched successfully in 04 and out of the bullpen that last month. Played successfully as an outfielder. Why not share my story and be able to help other people who are going through similar things?
And the reaction to the book?
Has been outstanding. Even though the book was just launched today, with the amount of interviews that I've done, I've had so many people come up and say, hey, listen, I went through something similar, whether it be the throwing issues that I had or the yips, the monster, or just coming from a dysfunctional home. And, you know, the response has been, hey, you know, it helped me by hearing your story, and thank you for sharing it.
And I've read the book. I commend you for everything you've done with it. It's not easy to come out and all of a sudden, you know, pour your heart out on a personal level with family, and also what you dealt with as we get a look at Chad Kuhl, the pitcher here to sacrifice. But what I loved about seeing tonight, your two little boys out there as they watched you throw that first pitch.
Oh, that was so cool. You know, just a bonding moment for us. You know, they weren't old enough to remember me playing. So for them to be able to walk out there with me out on the mound, you know, here at Busch Stadium, and now we'll have those pictures together forever. It's so neat.
We were kidding in spring training because I knew this day was coming. Yep. I said, are you going to throw a first pitch, or are you going to go out to center field and, like, you know, just throw a bullet back home?
That was the big joke, you know, and everybody kind of wanted me to throw it from center, but then I kind of felt like that would be a circus act. And I was mentioning to you before, it's not a secret. I don't like the distance from the mound to home, but after revealing everything in the book, I mean, who cares if I throw one away?
You know, people are wondering how it happened. Let's start with that part of it. What happened on the mound in that fateful day against the Atlanta Braves?
You know, I threw one pitch that really wasn't that bad of a pitch. It was an inside fastball that cut, and Carlos Hernandez missed it. And, you know, something just set with me that I just felt like, hey, I just threw a wild pitch on national TV, and I kind of pushed it aside. I didn't think much of it. And then, you know, a couple pitches later, it just seemed like things started to unravel. And me being as young as I was, I really didn't have any idea what was going on. You know, even after the game, during the media interview, I said, you know, hey, it's a mechanical issue, and this will never happen again. But I had no idea how deep and how dark this was going to be, and what the next 4 years of my life was going to look like.
And you get in also to the personal side of growing up with a father that was very tough on you, as we see Kuhl square to bunt and looks at a ball. And this is also why I think it's also a sports book, but can help those that have been from a tough upbringing, which you had obviously with your father.
That's right. I mean, plenty of people have come from a dysfunctional home, and you add that, and then, you know, I share my story about with the yips and the monster, and you know, for me, it's about saying, hey, look, everybody, some people, not everyone, but people come from things that you can't control, and that doesn't mean that you can't continue to go on and live your dreams and have a successful and happy life.
A bunt. Martinez will flip to Wong at first base. So if you missed it, here it is. This is Rick Ankiel out there with his two little boys, and catching that ceremonial first pitch is Mike Matheny, who you may recall blamed himself for what happened that day because he was hurt with the hunting knife.
Right.
But this is what I remember.
These are some good ones. Willie Taveras there on second.
Of all people, too.
Of all people. But,
the
you know,
fastest guy in the league.
I know when it got hit to me, I had that feeling. I know you've had this before. Like, you know what? No, I got you. You're not going on this one.
Mike Helling, our producer, was showing this before the game, and I said to Jimmy, I said, watch this one. And he said, I cannot believe that.
That was awesome. I wish I would have shot air guns or pulled out a fake laser or fake something out there. I couldn't. I was so excited I couldn't do it.
Well, so is the bench. The reaction of Chris Duncan there is priceless.
You can tell how impressive that throw was, by the way. The the bench was reacting. They
No
knew
doubt.
there was something there
that was so
that
cool.
was special.
Yeah, every time I watch the highlights, the best part is watching the bench go crazy.
Troy Gloss, I noticed too, gave you that ball. You came off and he gave you the ball. You still have it?
Yeah. Yes.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And what did Tony say to you after that?
Hey, that was a great throw. Don't ever effing do it again.
Don't overthrow the cutoff man.
Not the one to third, but the one when Willie was on second.
Right.
I should have thrown it to second to keep the guy from getting into scoring position.
And what makes your story amazing is that you reinvented yourself as an outfielder. I want to ask you how influential Jimmy was for you in trying to come back.
Oh, huge. I mean, just not just from picking Jimmy's brain, but getting a chance to watch Jimmy play day in and day out. And I've said this before, I just feel like he was ahead of his time. There wasn't all these shifts and things didn't happen as much back then, but he always had a reason of like, hey, this is why I'm playing this guy here, and this is why I'm playing him here, and this counts, and that, and that. You know, the first day I made the switch, I walk over to Jimmy's locker and say, hey, what do you think? He's like, well, first of all, welcome to the dark side. Second of all, I think you're going to need this. And he gives me an outfielder's glove, and then he gave me this little small glove, little training glove, and was like, hey, you shag enough balls with this, and your big glove's going to feel like a butterfly net. So,
Jimmy, what did you think when it happened? As we see a fly ball into shallow left, Grichuk under it. But they tell you guys, Rick Ankiel, who is one of the great young left-handers that baseball has seen, and oh, by the way, he's done with that. He's now going to be an outfielder.
Well, he knows this story. Selfishly, I wanted to keep pitching because I know I was watching probably the future of one of the best left-handed pitchers ever. And that was what was so hard to watch because I knew how good he was on the mound. And then he transitioned. I knew he could do it. I didn't know how good he was going to be, but I knew he could do it. And for him to go out there and do what he did, and then obviously things that this is magical. He comes up and hits a home run the first game and then goes on from there. But just a special talent, a special young man at the time. I think you were 19, I was 30. And when I just got over here, his rookie season was amazing, and just build on that, go through what he went through. And we would sit on the road at dinner, long nights, talking about him growing up, what he's gone through, things that were still going on in his life when he would go home in the offseason, and just really just try to bond as a group. And I think that bond helped a lot. You know that when you were coming back, you knew you had a place. Those guys were amazing to him and to me and to everyone else. So I think this organization was so instrumental in him coming all the way back.
We showed you just moments ago, for those at home that don't remember, that was your first home run back. So you're back. That's the first game. The Padres are here, and you hit that home run as Harrison lifts a high fly ball out to deep right. Just enough room, Piscotty. Rick Ankiel is going to stay with us for the bottom of the third. The book, The Phenomenon, available at all major bookstores and online. Having some fun with Rick Ankiel.